Hello everyone. I think we are live. Welcome or welcome back. Please leave a comment below to let me know you're attending or you're watching. And so let's get started, right? It's a little bit more complex because we have three shapes. And this one is probably more complex because of the angle. I'm going to change the background. We're just going to do a abstract background, a mix of blue and purple, complementary colors of the orange and the yellow, and I will keep the cutting board or the brownish wooden table. All right. So let's get started. As always, I'm using a big brush, half-inch brush. I'm going to paint a brownish line for the edge of the table. So there's two-third of table and 1/3 of background. Should be just fine. All right. To get the composition easily, if not quickly, as always, we start with the big shapes. Right? I'm going to leave a little bit more room around the peaches. So to be the left side, the top. Just going to use yellow. The left side is almost halfway, half and half, just right there. The right side, and then the bottom of the peach is halfway, half. It that way. And then what else you have? The bottom of this one is 1/3 and 2/3. So here the top will be about 1/4, slightly below this one. Okay. So these are the shapes. If you spot them, you want to place them so you know how big this one is going to be. This one, and then the last one. So the shape is tricky, but the placement is the left side cuts in half the top one. So let's make it more white so you can see better here. And the bottom is about 1/4 from the bottom. The right side it's a little bit more than half, a little bit more. So this gives you an idea of the placement. And now I'm going to chop those corners. Right? I have like 2 squares, one square, the second square, and then This one is more like a rectangle. So I simplify the shapes, and I'm going slow so you can follow. Right? So let's turn these squares into circle shapes. See, you chop the corners, and that's how you get circles. So this one is not a perfect circle, it's a little bit more elongated. So could do like that, like that. So I need to move this up. This is a little bit more elongated. Right? Circle, circle elongated, and then the slice. It starts over the this one. So it's like a letter C or G. You're doing a curve like that. And then on the left side, you have the opposite shape. Curve, another curve. All right. Now, it's about right. Okay, you have everything's in proportion. So not only do you check the shapes and the size, but also look at the gaps, right? The gaps between each part. That's how we're gonna get. If you think something is off, always check the distances, the gaps, the angle. See that? You see the angle here, the angle there. Okay. And then the top is slightly below the top of the left one. Right? It doesn't have to be exact, but this gives you an idea of, this will help you getting better composition and proportions. All right, next I'm going to paint, as a warm-up, I'm going to paint the background and the table, right? So let's do something abstract. The light source being on the left side, this is going to be lighter and more bluish, and this is going to be darker and more purplish. They are complementary colors to the yellow and orange. And for once, I'm going to have the edge of the table slanted, like on the reference photo. Okay. I always make it like perfectly straight to simplify the process, but if you've been following me all this time, it's not going to be complicated to slant the edge of the table. So we make it purplish. I know the colors are different on your screen. It's a dark purple, so I'm going to add a little bit of white to make it lighter. Loose strokes. I like to have my orange base color show through and between my strokes. Oops, I added some yellow by accident, but that's fine. I rinse my brush quickly and I go back to red, cadmium red, ultramarine blue, cadmium yellow, and titanium white. Keep the light purple. Like so. And then we're going to make it more blue as we move to the left. White, blue, all right, and let's make something more purple here. A little bit darker. I don't want an abrupt transition between the bluish and the purplish. Right. I'm going to make the background darker, like on the reference photo, to make the peaches stand out. And that should be enough. So it's okay to paint over your shapes, right? Because you're going to paint the peach over the background, so that's okay. All right, so far so good. Let's paint the table. All right. If you watch my previous videos, it's always the same table, wooden table, to keep things simple. Right, so it doesn't have to be exactly the same patterns. Mix brown, white, some yellowish, and it's gonna look like wood. Right. So mix blue, yellow, and red to get a brownish color. I like this pattern here because it's dark and then it makes the peaches stand out. There, it's brownish enough. I'm going to add white. So I always do that to keep it simple, and the goal here is to cover the canvas to have an idea of the colors I'm going to play with. That's why you don't want to jump into the details, because you're going to keep adjusting, refining here and there. So even more if you're going for photorealism. Okay. Just take your time, follow the process, trust the process. There's going to be many changes between the first pass and the last pass. So here I just want to establish the composition, background, table, and then the fruits. Again, trust the process. And once this makes sense, it's easy to replicate the process and make changes to your liking. I'm not sure about the slanted edge of the table at this point. I'm not sure it's a good balance. I might change that later. So for now, just playing with the colors, trying to understand how I can control the paint, my strokes, the blending, trying to create textures, keep it simple and fun, right? Make this lighter. Painting loose doesn't necessarily mean that you have to paint fast. It's more about playing with strokes and get something that works. That's good enough. So on your screen, it probably looks more blue. But in person, I have a nice purple here I like. Now let's do the peaches. To keep the bright yellow, I'm going to paint, well, it's already yellow, right? But I'm going to make it a little bit more yellow, lighter. So it's going to be bright when I paint the orange red. Simple strokes, don't think about the details. A few strokes. Now let's paint the orange and the reddish. Bottom. Top left corner. Orangish also on the side. So a sticking shape. I can see the light part, probably the reflection. So it's working. This is darker. I'm going to paint darker and darker. the color variations give you the dimension. So it's working. I'm gonna refine that in a simple way so it looks more and more like a peach. Okay, but it's still in the loose style. Okay. So let's paint the darker part on the right. To make it darker, I need a brownish color. So I'm doing my mix of blue and yellow. I get greenish. Okay. And I add red to get my dark red. And dark red on this side also. Let's add more orange. More red. This side. I'm going to refine the shape. Okay. Side, side, top, it's lighter. There's more yellow on this side. In the middle. So it's coming along. Now let's paint the crease here. A little bit of orange, and I just use the tip of the brush, like I cut. And now I'm going to paint the hole being darker. So use dark red. And the stem of the tip, just using blue and red. And that's how I get my peach. I will refine it later, but I hope that makes sense how I placed my colors. Yellow, light color, and then I did the darker colors around it with the light source on the left side and the shadow on the right side. That's how I get a sphere shape. Need more yellow here. That's better. All right, ready for the next shape? So let's paint the whole center yellow. Right. Light yellow. So where does it start? It starts above the table here, and it ends above the table on this side, and you're going to paint a curve, like a bump or dome. Like so. And the top is like an oval shape now. See, you have the dome, and now you have like a smile. I was talk about shapes to describe the element. It's easier to understand. Here it looks like an oval instead of, hey, paint the top part of the peach. Okay, so you have a dome here, the smile, and then you have your oval. Now we're going to do the same thing for the bottom. Okay, it's not quite a dome, but you get the idea. Okay, it's another oval. It starts here. Pay attention to the distance between this peach and the left side of this peach. Okay, you connect with the top part. More yellow and white, and then you already have your sketch here. So you paint this smile like so. Because it's a loose style, your edges don't have to be like clear. Okay. Let's finish the center here. And there you have your two halves, the top and the bottom. Now let's finish both sides. You need to paint the background. So I'm going back to my purple, red and blue, and I paint the edge of the table in. So that's how I get a better cut for my peach. I'm going to paint this part of the peach more like a pinkish, so the yellow shows better. Otherwise it's blended here. But before doing that, I'm going to finish the right side of the peach here. More yellow. And now let's paint the top part of the peach. That is an orangey pinkish So red, yellow, and then white, so it's not too orange. I need more pink. So far so good. And then let's make it more pink also, the top here, so it's going to make the half, the cut stand out more. All right, so I hope it makes sense how I started the top, the bottom, and then the top. So from a circle, it became half of the peach. Let's fix this here. I'm going to fix the table as well. There, it's more full. And it makes this part stand out better. Now, another shape. It's always a matter of shapes. So, the seed here, again, it's another oval. So, where does it start? Near the cut, and it's about 2/3, a little bit more than a half. It starts here and it ends there. Now you're going to do an elongated oval, almost like an eye shape. Let's darken the right side. It's going to give more dimension. So how many of you are using just one brush? Small, big, or medium? Let me know in the comment. And then a couple lines here. It shows better the cut. If it's not perfect or what you envision or what you like, you can always adjust later. All right. Trust the process. We're still building everything and not trying to have right now the perfect painting. I want you to like what you're doing, not necessarily stick to my process or trying to copy exactly what I'm doing. All right, so now I step back, I look at both shapes. This looks good, it looks like a peach. Same, okay. Half, it's in proportion. This one is slightly bigger than this one, so it's all good. And now we're going to do the same thing for this slice. All right? Let's do something different now. Let's paint the darks first. All right? I have my shape. It starts on top of the the pitch. It ends right there. I look at the angle. It seems to work. Is the right size, okay, on the left side and the right side. So check that before I paint. And we're going to do a dark yellow. It's almost like a light orange, right? But to keep it dull, I'm going to add white. Like so. Oh. Yellow, red, and white. Small red. More yellow. Just finding the right amount of each. All right, that works. The top here. And now let's paint the left side. We're going back to white, a lot of white, because it's a light yellow and just a little bit of yellow. So it starts from the top. If you're my student, you know that you want to take pictures of the work in progress. So you remember how you started, what happened, what you adjusted, what you kept, what you removed. All right, so it's light enough compared to the right side, and that's how I get the dimension to the this slice. It's more white here. You see how I keep my strokes very simple. 1, 2, 3. I'm not trying to paint anything precisely. That's a little bit of pink side before the red in the middle. I rinse my brush. I'm going to paint the red in the middle. So it's a similar shape that follows the oval shape of the slice. So just red. That's pretty red here, so a few strokes. It has to match somewhat the shape. And I think it's working. I hope it's working on your end. All right, I step back. Again, I look at my shapes. The first one, the second one cut, and the slice. Let's paint a little bit of edge. Let's not forget the skin here at the bottom. A little bit lighter so it stands out from the table. I'm going to paint the right side, I'm sorry, darker so it stands out from the table as well. Because it's too thick, right? I'm going to paint my dull white, yellowish. And make the skin thinner. So what's missing here? Maybe a little bit of shadow to give even more dimension to the peaches and create a nice lighting. Okay, the light source from the left. So the shadows aren't very strong on the reference photo, but I think that's interesting to make them to show more shadows. Oh. And then because the pattern is darker in the middle, I'm going to paint the shadow much darker. So blue, yellow, I get green, and add red to have brown, dark brown in this case. I'm going to finish the bottom here, even if it's going to be framed, so you won't see the the edges. All right, I'm almost done. I'm going to rework that because I can see my sketch through. On your screen looks like a dirty green, but I don't want that, so I'm going to retouch that. I'm refining before I sign it. More white, it covers this. Let's paint a light pink. Around the seed. All around the seed. So I hope you're doing better using just one brush. It's challenging at first, but once you realize that you can paint so much with just one brush, it shows that you can control a lot more than you think. And I want to rework the first peach. It's complicated because of the color variations and transitions. I want to do better. And you don't have to do that, all right? It's just me. I think it doesn't quite work. Don't overdo it, all right? If you're not comfortable adjusting here and there, don't do it. All right. And almost done. I like my background. I like the table. I like the textures on the table. My colors are good on the peaches. I get the dimension I want. All right, and then I want this to really stand out, so let's paint more bright yellow or light yellow. So if you're new here and you'd like to paint this picture, let me know and I will share with you the reference photo. I will post tomorrow on our Facebook group the finished painting. The link to the group will be in the first comment below. And as always, I look forward to seeing your version of this reference photo. I hope you learned something tonight. You enjoyed it, and then you want to paint more and more. A few strokes here and there, and I think I'm ready to sign. So I'm gonna switch to a smaller brush and sign it. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment. All right, let's sign this. Et voilà. I'm pretty pleased with it. So let's stop there. I'm done. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next Wednesday. Bye bye.